as men, we and our respective crotch areas can all breathe a sigh of relief that the skinny suit is well and truly dead. You look everywhere, from designer runways to red carpets to ordinary menswear stores like Suit Supply and Todd Snyder. You will see a full-cut trouser, strong peak lapels, and a silhouette so roomy you could fit an ADU in there. While the exaggerated, padded shoulders of the 80s are less omnipresent, one thing is for certain: the power suit is back. But how did this roomy, confident style of tailoring make a return to our wardrobes? And is it here to stay? Gentlemen, let's find out. To understand how the full-cut suit has returned to pole position, you first have to understand how it became irrelevant. If you're a man like me in your mid to late 20s, your first ever suit probably looked something like this. Black, as tight as saran wrap, made of polyester, laughable, tiny toothpick lapels. This style of suiting was congruent with everything else in men's fashion at the time. Skinny jeans were in, muscle tees were in, everything had to be skin tight or it was too baggy. If you wore a full cut suit at that time, people would think you were wearing your dad's suit. But in style, as with anything, any trend that plays to the extreme will always produce an opposite, an equal reaction later on. These reactions don't come overnight. They take more than a single season. They take years, and they define periods as long as decades. Although men have been wearing roomier suits since the 1940s, the 1980s was the decade when the power suit was truly cemented in menswear history. Whether you were shopping at Brooks Brothers or Xenia, whether you were dressed for Wall Street or your sister's wedding, the suits of the 1980s had room to spare. The width of the ties and the size of the shirt collars was also exaggerated, as was pretty much everything in the 1980s. In film and TV, characters like Don Johnson of Miami Vice and Gordon Gekko in Wall Street became icons not only of style, but of success. Young men actually got into banking because they loved Gekko's character so much. And a big reason why they wanted to be him was so they could dress like him. American Psycho, which was released in 2000, retrospectively reinforced this stereotype by dressing main character Patrick Bateman and the surrounding cast in Giorgio Armani power suits. The power suit is not just a baggy suit, it's tailoring with a silhouette that gives you strength. The long lines of the jacket and trousers, the width of the lapel taking up room across the chest, the padding of the shoulders, they give the wearer a special kind of presence that no other garment offers. Men interested in classic style like to distance themselves from the fashion world, but they are intrinsically linked. Tailors become designers, tailors take cues from designers, and what the public, what the customer wants is even subconsciously influenced by what happens on the runway and what happens in film and TV. Anthony Vaccarello, who is the creative director of Yves Saint Laurent, has been a major player in this movement back toward a stronger silhouette. He also brought back ties into fashion at a time when they couldn't have seemed more obsolete. Vaccarello loves to express this kind of 80s bourgeois energy in his designs, and that aspiration for decadence has been a major theme in pop culture this decade. It's not a coincidence that young men are simultaneously obsessed with Patrick Bateman and wanting to wear the fashions of the yuppie era. I wish I could discuss the return of the power suit without using the term old money, but I can't neglect the relevance and importance of this trend. Right now, pop culture is harking back to the 80s, to opulence, to flash, to excess. Although economically, the US is not enjoying the same levels of prosperity, the aspiration to live a life of luxury, to dress, to speak, to drive as if you were successful has never been stronger. Nobody wants to be middle class anymore, and nobody wants to wear a skinny suit. Today, a skinny suit suggests shrewdness, tightness, insecurity. Quite literally, these suits are cheaper to make because they require less fabric. Nobody wants to be middle class anymore, and nobody wants to wear a skinny suit. On the other hand, a full cut is nonchalant. It suggests relaxation, comfort, riding high, living well. Whether you're reclining in your penthouse, leaning over the boardroom table, or slinking out of a Ferrari, you can do it all better in a baggy suit. The return to a roomy suit isn't just the work of one designer or one fashion trend. It's a decision in the collective conscience of men's style. And you can see it on every level. Look at a store like Suit Supply. They operate at a mid-price range. Men go there to get their suit for a wedding, their first ever serious suit. Men also go in there to buy suits just to wear every day because they love them. Although their classic slim fit is still available in all the standard colors, their new collection is full of relaxed fit, double-breasted suits in casual colors like brown, olive green, and even pink. Go to a lower-cost store like H&M or Zara, and you'll see the same thing. And while the more conservative Brooks Brothers and J-Press are sticking to a more traditional, slim cut, skinny suits are definitely out. Today, the power suit represents something different from what it did in the 80s. You don't wear a suit to assert your dominance in the boardroom. You wear a suit to party. You wear a suit to get dinner with your girlfriend. You wear a suit just because. Today's designers care about suiting that the wearer can enjoy in celebration of dressing well. A suit that you wear because you are free to wear it, because you can afford to wear it, and because you can pull it off. Wear a slim, single-breasted navy suit to a bar on a Saturday night, and people will ask you if you've come from a wedding. Wear a double-breasted, baggy, pinstripe suit to a bar on a Saturday night, and people will compliment your sense of style. And trust me, I speak from both sides. If you are a skinny man, a full-cut suit makes you look more imposing. It pads you out in the shoulders, broadens the chest, and gives you stronger proportions in your legs. If you're on the bigger side, it hides your stomach, and the trousers give your legs more than enough room to avoid a bulging gut or thighs. And now we have to talk about comfort. Over the last 5 years, the popularity of athleisure, sweatpants, and men wearing shorts all of the time has meant one thing. The adult male is now accustomed to comfort and expects to be comfortable at all times. He is no longer prepared to compromise on this. Suits are typically worn when sitting down, be it at the office, at a restaurant, at a function. To sit comfortably as a man, it's very important that your trousers are not too tight. As LBJ once confessed to his tailor, down there where the nuts hang, it's always a little too tight. In the decades when every white-collar man wore a suit to work, you'll notice how the trousers were always roomier, especially in the crotch. Even in the 60s, when the suits were at their slimmest for the 20th century, the zippers were still long, the crotch was lower. Don Draper couldn't deliver genius advertising pitches while drinking and smoking if he had to readjust his balls every 2 minutes. It's easy to say that every trend in fashion inevitably comes and goes, but I think what we are seeing here represents a landmark change. The power suit's advantages, its comfort, its versatility, its ability to flatter men of all body types are undeniable and timeless. The extremely baggy cuts that we see on the runway or at Zara will inevitably fade. Likewise, I questioned whether Suit Supply will have quite the assortment of colors and silhouettes in the future, but let us be optimistic that the skinny suits of the aughts, that was a brief nightmare from which we've woken up. That was the true extreme, which will be ridiculed by our children and our children's children. And even if that fashion does ever return, I and my family jewels will never be going back.